Look at the dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody in between, and all over the world, welcome to the semi-finals of the Open Division EUCF 2023. I am Lorca Murray. I am blessed to be joined with Stefan Rapazzo, and we have got quite the delectable matchup ahead of us for you here in this Saturday evening in Wrocław, as we are watching Mooncatchers from Belgium take on Lafotta from Italy, and break down just why the people at home should be so excited, Steph, as if they needed to know.
As if they needed to know, Lorcan. I mean, this is the rubber match of all rubber matches. This could easily have been a final. Tom's tourney. Mooncatchers win over Bologna in the final. Elite invite. Mooncatchers won, but their only loss against Lafotta at that tournament. They played each other twice. Lafotta have been, and this is going to sound strange, but quietly crushing the competition here at EUCF. Wins 15-5, 15-6, 15-6, 15-7 over Bristol. KFK, Otso, and Alba. Quality competition. Nobody getting close to 10 on them. Mooncatchers doing it the same. They're getting their wins with substantial deficits. 15-8, 15-8, 15-9, 15-8. A little bit closer by comparison, but the same thing happening. These two teams steamrolling through the competition, and this set to be an absolute cracker. As mentioned, could well be the final. When you get to these semis, they tend to feel that way. Any of the semis could feel like it's a final. But here, one of these teams going through, one of these playing for bronze, and that will be a disappointment for whoever it ends up being. The class out here, the Lorcan, like, it is just top quality stuff. You look at the players. A Dan Demarais, somebody who's going to be up in the conversation for Player of the Year. A David Barsazzi, who played in the mixed divisions for some of the season, but will be up for Player of the Year. And you can just go down this roster and compare and contrast. There are so many. This is going to be a battle for the ages, and I cannot wait for these waning minutes and the pull to finally kick this off.
You were talking about some of the players we got to keep our eyes on. Obviously, the man who has had the season of his life, one of the most impressive seasons a European player has ever put together, Dan Demarais. But there's plenty of talent on both of these teams. We could start listing off the Italians, and in fact, I will invite you to do so, that we should be keeping an eye on as we go through this game.
I mean, Lorenzo Pavan, watch out for the big man from Padova. Does it all. Crafty thrower, big body, very fast. You've got Tognetti, one of the captains, long-time players here in Bologna. He does it on the defensive side for it, one of the captains. Speaking of captains, Chopo Santucci, been doing it the same. You go to their O-line, they've got Laffy and Gasperini running that offensive line. Gasperini gave Demarais probably the toughest battle he's had this year at EUC when the Belgians played the Italians. Again, this list can go on. I haven't even mentioned Roger, the pickup they have from France. There's just too many. It is dripping with talent, and it drips with talent the other way too. You've got Jonkers, you've got Oczynski, you've got Vandenbroek, you've got, I mean, this game is on, and it's handed. Orlovsky's, oh my God, I haven't even said his name. This is going to be good.
And that one hit a foot on the way out, so he's going to have to take that from the back of the end zone. So the match stats will be brought to you by Force Sportswear.
He is walking to the front of the end. No, that is at the
back.
back.
It hit his foot, so he's stuck all the way at the back, looking to get a break to try and get a bit of breathing room. Laffy gets it across the copy. Lashes that one, but a huge burn through block, and we are getting going early here, everybody. Are you ready for some action? Fantastic pull, poorly fielded, forces them back. There's that man you named, Orlovsky's. switches it across Albertinch, and there's the quick throw in for the score, collected by Victor Oczynski.
Too easy, Campese, lemon squeezy, however you want it. Louis Courtois did the work there. The 21-year-old hailing out of Brussels, a hometown Mooncatcher. He gets the block, and then once they pick up, Orlovsky's Abeltinch, and then into the corner for the goal. It was just a thing of beauty. Oczynski cashes that one in. Mistake by the Italians. Kind of two mistakes there. One, fielding the pull, starting in their own end zone, didn't help anything. They did get away with the first throw, got it to the front of the end zone, but Kopi, an error there. Courtois credit the effort defensively, but Kopi, that throw shouldn't have gone.
You don't want to make things easy, squeezy for the Mooncatchers. If anything, you want to make things difficult, lemon difficult.
Difficult schmifficult.
We'll see how they get on, as they're going to have to respond and come right back out here. And you can just see, for all their superstar power, for all of the incredible moves that they can pull off, it was that quick fire, just dump, swing, hit the other side, and collected by Oczynski for the goal. Opening with a break, the Mooncatchers starting off strong.
See if Lafotta can get this O-line cooking second time.
It's another big, difficult pull to field. Laffy picks it up. Looking for options. He finds one in the form of Pavan, who, like you said, he doesn't mind a laser every now and again, but that one just a bit too far ahead of Rossi.
And the overshot there, not by much, but not by, will end up being a game of inches. And those inches right now are hurting Lafotta. Too far in front of Rossi. And a full field in front of them, but Mooncatchers with a second break chance in the second point of the game.
So Brice Van Hee walking to pick it up, looking to lead his team to a 2-0 lead, to a 2-0 advantage early on. And a massive layout D, that's how you respond. Sebastian Rossi couldn't get there on the offensive side, does so on the D. An immediate recovery. Gasparini picks it up, looks for the pop in for the score, and they had to take the long road to get there, but they eventually do. Trombetti picking up the goal.
You have got to be kidding me. Seba Rossi, wow, that is one way. No responsibility on his side for not collecting the catch. There was an overshot by Pavan, but you still feel like when it's coming to you, you know, you owed it to your team, and when that happens, we see it all the time. Those players there's so much of a higher likelihood that they'll be the one to generate the D. And well, Seba Rossi, he took responsibility there. Wow, put the cape on, gets himself flying, and gets it back, prevents the second break, and that is very important to keep Lafotta in this game. There it is again, Seba Rossi. Oh my goodness.
And it shows you how closely fought this game is going to be. Two of the best teams in Europe locking horns in the semi-final as the sun sets on Wrocław. The moon is rising. I think BFD have got a few things to say about that.
Oh yeah. Have they ever. One apiece, early days here, not even 5 minutes into this game, and we're getting fireworks.
So for another look, Lafotta sending out their D-line for the first time in this game. What are they going to be able to do against the Mooncatchers? Yonkers to Demarais. How many times have we watched those two connect this season alone? It's it across now to DeLuca. But there's a stoppage downfield. I think it might be an equipment call. You don't see too many of them. It's going to be a fun matchup. Luca Tognetti is going to try and limit the effectiveness, the virility of Demarais. Yonkers. Quickly down the line to Oczynski. Back to Yonkers. Doesn't want the first dump. Happy to take the second one. DeLuca. Back to Yonkers in the middle of the pitch. Yonkers to Demarais. A few people going deep. trying to cycle through their cutters, but right now it's just a lot of dump swing action. And there's a pick called.
I like the defense I'm seeing out there. I've been checking, switching eyes on a couple matchups. Definitely the Tognetti, Demarais.
Yonkers launches, looking for Demarais. Trombetti just has to watch him like he's on the sideline with us. And a massive layout block. Can't take anything for granted. There is a foul called.
Venturoli flying through there. Let's see the resolution. It is an accepted foul by Tognetti. But again, a heck of a play. These Italians will give nothing easy as it's back in.
Right in front of the end zone, Demarais turns down the offhand backhand break. Just a little dish. Back and waiting for his DeLuca. Demarais juking, jiving, can't get free. Yonkers marked by Roger. So this is some nice defensive pressure by BFD. Back to Demarais, immediately back to Yonkers. And then he shoots for Demarais, looking for that back corner. And he's able to get there, skidding in there at the last second was Crisafulli. That's how short and narrow these windows are going to be.
Yeah, Yonkers to Demarais, a combination we're starting to get used to. That time you saw the switch where Roger jumped off of Yonkers and onto Demarais, but there was an immediate separation even on the switch. 2 steps here, you'll see the switch again there. He goes with Demarais, you see Roger cook up line, and the 2 steps of separation from the get-go were enough for the continuation. Crisafulli trying to help from the other side. Great finish there. I loved the play from Venturoli to prevent the first time, but there was the foul on the throw. Demarais fouled, everything accepted by Tognetti, but still love to see those bodies flying. A lot of work to make this 2-1 right now for Mooncatchers. Pretty low scoring for as much as we've seen.
Lafotta lining up and hoping for a little bit of an easier time, shall we say, as they try to go at the Belgians. And these poles are terrifying. That is not a position I'd like to be in, fielding the disc, although I suppose it would be nice to look up and see Laffy as the person you're aiming for. Rossi gets it back to Laffy. Marking, dictating, waiting for somebody to be there, and I think that was a miscommunication. Cleat up on the other side. Orlovsky's picks it up immediately, looking to get going. The Mooncatchers want another break. They want to build this tally. They want to keep going up. Bontemps sends it down the line. Goes back to Oczynski in the middle, or Oczynski. Orlovsky's in the middle of the pitch. He has Hjotanen beside him. Goes over the top instead. Vandenbroek. And Vandenbroek throws Rossi to the ground with that fake. Orlovskis gets free. Orlovskis waiting for somebody to move. Doesn't like his initial options. Praying someone gets free. He's forced to just float one along. Fantastic heads-up play. And for the second time in this game, Sebastian Rossi saves possession for the BFD O-line.
Wow, Seba Rossi getting it done.
Zani. Down the line and collected by Casanelli. Zani continues the look. Or Gasparini. Shoots for the end zone. He's looking for Rossi. And an insane play! What was that?
Gaetan Vandenbroek leaving his feet, bodies flying all over Olympic Stadium here. Rossi does it on one side, Vandenbroek does it on the other. This is a battle out there. Nobody giving an inch. Taking is of every measurement is the only thing happening right here.
You'd be forgiven for thinking this was the Olympic diving competition, but right now it is EUCF semi-finals. Orlovskis on Cork's one, launches it all the way down the field. Lots of people down there. I mean, at a certain point, you just got to start assuming Rossi's going to get the disc back for BFD.
Because he's done it again.
And Lafotta get to go back at them. Casanelli to Laffy. Laffy doesn't want to take on the big shot straight away. Looks to Gasparini initially, but Gasparini shut down. Roger tries to get free. And a massive layout bid. That was always a bit of hesitation. You will get punished for it. Fantastic stuff on the defensive side by Volast.
Tough point right now for Laffy. That's 2 turnovers that have come out of his hand. 1 a miscue. That one, well, 2 miscues. 1 to space and 1.
I feel like that one's going to be tough. Yep. And immediately agreeing that is a turnover. Van den Broek understood. He landed out of bounds.
Landed out of bounds. It may have touched the ground before his fingers to it. It was that close, that low by the time he did get hands to it.
This is becoming a bit of a mammoth point already. Ricardo Zani.
6 turnovers thus far.
And normally you see that, you're like, man, these guys can't throw. It's been a lot of layouts. Zani looks at Roger. Or Mastriani, sorry. That hairstyle confusing me somewhat. Into the middle to Rossi. Showing what he can do on the offensive side. Gets it across to Casanelli. Back to Rossi. Rossi floats it wide and all the way out to Laffy. Keeps the move going. Barzazzi shoots for the end zone. He's known for those backhands. And that is caught and jumped in. Gasparini with the score.
First touch for Barzazzi. And it is exactly as you say what he's known for, is no hesitation, spin around backhand. Catches, faces upfield, and delivers a backhand, usually with a bit of an outside end curve, as that one had. And just beautiful, right into the breadbasket for that man there, Simone Gasparini, the goal scorer. It's all tied up at 2. It feels like we're at 14-14 already. The intensity in this game, the amount of Ds we've seen, this is absolute madness. I think we may have a timeout on the field here.
Understandable, as we just have a quick look back through the array of top quality plays, and we're just getting started as it is all tied up here at 2-2. And getting in on the action courtesy of our Eurodisc best perspective. And right now, the perspective's got to be a little bit different. It is tied up at 2-2, but that does include an opening break on the first point by the Mooncatchers. As we see, Simone Gasparini got a goal and an assist. But BFD not getting a clean hold, getting pretty far from it on that point, but a hold is a hold, is a hold, is a hold. As now they get to put their D-line back up there, and they want to take back serve. As you said earlier on, Stefan, nothing will be given. You're going to have to reach out and take it.
So, quick look around as we settle into this game. There is, of course, the other semifinal, 2-2 in that game as well. Gentle clap, and we'll keep you updated on that as this game presses forward.
Immediately caught and sent to Yonkers. And so they're going to want to put the disc in the hands of as much as they possibly can. Thrown into the middle. Machinsky out across the DeLuca. Yonkers in the dump space. And DeLuca gets it back to him. Yonkers chased that one down a little bit. Gaining yards, but in the wrong direction. DeLuca spreads it out and wide to Oczynski. Tireless cutter. And one with few peers as well. Yonkers, he's going to peer downfield. Thinks about the break. Very well shut down by Simonazi. Goes to DeLuca, but he's going to send that right back.
Yep, pick called as indicated by the double bicep flex. And Yonkers will get that straight back, and the DeLuca cut will be negated.
That's going to, I think, be a violation call. So Tognetti on Desmarais, right at the front of that stack. And that's where the isolation starts. And it's a leading pass that goes a little bit astray, bouncing out of the hands. You expect near infallibility. That's a shot to the end zone. That's a break. They're going right back at it, courtesy of Jan Novak receiving.
Wow, what a series of events. You don't see Dan Demarais miss much at all. That one just a bit too far off the hand, macked right to the sideline. But the speed at which Tognetti raced to pick this up as though he was sure the hammer was coming 4 steps before he even got there, picked it up, fired the dart, and the Austrian import, Jan Novak, cashes in the goal. What a series of events. The break back. Oh, Lorcan, we're only 5 points into this game. The intensity here is like you should expect for a continental semifinal. Yes, but every time we get here and see it and feel it, it is just something that, words can't put in. We cannot perfectly portray it because it is just oozing energy here off of this Olympic field in Wrocław.
It's like watching 2 prize fighters trading blows. Lafotta, it has to be said, really needed that.
Oh, yeah. Did they ever? You don't want to wait too long to get that break back against a team like Moon. You don't want their O-line to just get more and more and more comfortable as the game goes on. This way, force them back out onto the field, give them one more time to play tired, put your second unit D-line out, and see if you can generate another now. But all locked up on serve, Lafotta with the lead. Speaking of Lafotta, the man bringing this to the brick mark, ex-Lafotta himself, DeLuca.
It would mean an awful lot to be able to get this win. Yonkers has Demarais in the middle. He's working very hard to get free. Yonkers again, and now they're starting to feel themselves a little bit. Getting that give-go action.
And we've got another matchup to watch. Tognetti takes the break, and we've got Santucci taking a turn on the ever-dangerous Demarais.
What assets to have. You can change top-quality defenders against Demarais and just keep throwing bodies at him. Of course, he's far from the only threat that Mooncatchers have. DeLuca sends it down the line to Yonkers. Ben Yonkers, the younger brother. Demarais grabs from the leading pass. Looking for isolations in the end zone. Doesn't like too many of those options. Goes back to Yonkers instead. There's a cut straight across and collected for the goal. Michal Marek.
Nice lefty dish there to finish the job by Yonkers. Marek on the receiving end of that one. Tied up at 3. I liked the matchup change there on Demarais. Santucci gave him a good run, but in the end, it's a case of how much you can contain. You're not going to be able to stop Demarais. There's even a switch in the middle of the point there. You see Roger ends up on him, and Demarais does set that up. There's the hockey assist, and now the offhand backhand by Yonkers to the Czech import on the Mooncatchers, Marek. Michal Marek cashing in the goal. Normally plays with Fui or 3SB, and the Czech national team, the 24-year-old, 8 years of experience, so started, later than many in this division we see now. Certainly a lot of the Belgians who have been starting at age 10. There's Yonkers, 2 assists already in this game. And his brother Ref, wishing he could be out there, sustained a ACL injury earlier this season at Windmill in the final against the French national team.
That's another terrifying pull from Bontemps. And they get right back to it. Zani. Copy. Back to Zani. Able to get it down the line, and there's a huge throw out of the hands of Pavan. He's taking on those big shots. That's how he likes it. Phenomenal grab. Rossi has started off this game in absolutely incredible form. He's able to find Trombetti for the score. Rossi How many highlight plays has he made so far?
I don't know, like 3, 4, but that should not have ever been his disc. Everybody was behind in better position. He was backpedaling his way in and still outleaped the people in position, including his own teammate, Trombetti, the goal scorer there, who ended up just saying, all right, if you're going to catch it, I'll just go get the next one. Pavan, not a perfect throw to set it up, but through to the right target. Here's, look at just backpedaling away from Van den Broek, over top of Trombetti, over top of everybody. And Van den Broek, I think, knocked his knee and wasn't too quick to get back into the play there, but Sebarossi having a heck of a match right now. There he is, all thumbs up. Sebarossi, the man from Rimini, playing for Bologna for a long time. Davide Mori, I asked him maybe 4 or 5 months ago, who's the best in Italy right now, and there's a couple names he mentioned, but his answer, Sebastian Rossi, and that's high praise from an Italian with a justified opinion.
Just want to quickly point out, he has 3 blocks on that stat sheet. He is playing on their O-line. So BFD holding on to serve after earning it back, so 4-3 up. That is the first flawless offensive point they've had. So this one, a close battle. De Luca to Yonkers immediately. Back to De Luca. Sends it across to Delhas. Delhas down the line to De Luca. A dipping flick break all the way across the pitch to Demarais and back into Yonkers in the middle. As you can see, BFD switching up their defensive approach, but there's not a lot of wind, so shots like that are gonna be available. Leading pass. I don't think Delhas was expecting that leading pass, but he was ready for it. Reacted in time. Yonkers happy to throw some outlandish stuff at times. I think anybody who's familiar with Mooncatchers throughout the ages knows that's where they love to play. But it has really been their adjustment to be a bit more conservative, a bit more consistent, that has seen them achieve the upper echelons of success, such as that World semi-final berth last year. Marek, who got the goal earlier, gets it across to Demarais and back to Yonkers. Yonkers, the high release flick, looking for Demarais, floats it over the top. Couple of defenders poaching in to try and help out. The quick switch to recover, but it's thrown around and collected for the score by Beekmans.
Beekmans finishes the job there, gets it done, but again, it was Demarais and Yonkers. As mentioned, they've done it so many times before, but really the closing sequence there, they were able to generate some great separation. Both of them, the cheeky high release flick from Yonkers. I mean, I call it cheeky because in my day those were so rare. Nowadays it's like if you can't throw the high release forehands, you're not you don't have your full range of throws. There it is, and well received. And you see Demarais, the second try here with that low release backhand, finds Beekmans, the speedster, putting the toe down.
Yeah, Novak putting his bum down in his attempts to stop that Demarais throw. And Demarais, 1 goal, 1 assist. Really just taking on the world. And generally coming out on top all season long. Right now it's all tied up, 4 apiece.
4 apiece. Love talking about numbers. So many of you watching, and just a small number there in the like department. Oh, just went up by 1. Because I'd love to see those likes just skyrocket up. We're so happy to have you here. You might as well show how happy you are to be here. The only way to show it is by pressing that like button. You can subscribe while you're at it and consider being an ULTI.TV patron on patreon.com/ULTI.TV as this game continues.
Kopi catches. Well, doesn't catch, but stops it, passes it to Laffy. Straight down to Rossi. Rossi has Barzazzi in front of him. Barzazzi thought for a second about maybe lashing it, but decides against it. Instead goes to Pavan. Pavan's already taken on 2 big shots in this game, one of which was successful. Fantastic high grab from Casanelli. Quickly Gibbs goes, gets it back. Pavan shoots right in front of the end zone. Zani. Rossi sees Pavan, waits for him to get to the break side, decides not to take the throw on. Instead goes back to Laffy. Quick fire to get him back into the central position of the pitch. Takes a hammer. Be a little surprised to see Rossi throw that, but we shall see. You got to go to every tool in your toolbox. You want to try and get past Mooncatchers here in this semi-final and have a chance at gold. There's Pavan with the disc. Bontemps marking him.
And the foul indicated accepted by Bontemps.
So we come back in, leading past the Orlovskis was trying to come across and pinch it, but couldn't get there in time, and Rossi gets the goal.
Rossi screaming across laterally there, gets in front and gets the goods. This is, I mean, the further we go into this game, look at that stat line already. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 blocks. I mean, Lafotta's only got 4 points on the board. I mean, the blocks don't count towards that, but they do count towards that. Here's the replay. Pavan spots Rossi, and Rossi just toes in front of Orlovsky's there. And you see him, the casual over-the-shoulder spike there to finish things off.
There is a certain flair that Lafotta bring to this game, and it is incredibly enjoyable to watch. This would be a way of describing it. BFD fancy? Le Fancy, Le Fotta, The Fire, burning bright right now. They are 5-4 up. After what you have to admit was a little bit of a shaky start, 2 offensive holds in a row. Settling into this game.
And as we continue with the reminders, ULTI.TV winners party tomorrow. You got to win to get in. And there are other ways. Being a patron is one, but we're looking forward to it. We hope all you watching that are here in Poland will be able to join us.
Yeah, I mean, being around, you can come to the party.
Yeah.
Being in Wrocław is basically the only requirement.
It is. You're invited. Come join us.
De Luca inviting Cutters to make a move for him somewhere, somehow, but has to go to Del Haas. Del Haas, that is a nice inside break across to Oczynski. And then back across. That one was going low all the time, and they're going to discuss whether that was up or down. I really can't tell from here. What do you think?
Deleuze, I thought it touched the ground. I thought it grazed. My simple opinion, Santucci wants to look, and he comes screaming over. Here is another look at it. Nice and slow. Definitely up there. It was up there for a second, but here is where... I
think it has to be said, if he never has control until that final moment, then it definitely touches the ground. So then it's a turnover. Unless you're saying he had control while it was touching the ground, then lost control, then regained it.
I thought...
It's a little bit Edelman-esque, but I feel like it touches the ground on that first grab. There, I think he actually gets it before it hits the ground.
That is so difficult to tell. I thought that the first one was up, and then the second one was closer to being down. But if I think the first one was up, then I'm saying that he had enough control on the first one if I thought it was up. So
that is going to go back under the new rules. They don't agree.
And they're ready to go back in, but Chopo is giving his opinion.
Chopo, that's against the rules. You are not allowed disagree from the sideline with your opponent.
Yeah, it's got to be
unless
it will go back in.
Yeah. So it goes back, shows you how close, how intense these games are. De Luca, that one was definitely up as he passed it to last. De Luca gets it to Yonkers. And BFD really trying to ratchet up the pressure. Demarais with the backhand fake to Yonkers. There is all kinds of white jerseys interfering with their options. This zone look from BFD. They take the break through the extending arms of Yonkers. Rescues that one from gravity and he launches it. He's looking deep. He's able to find, going down the line, Matthew Muller. Beckmans, like you say, the speedster makes a move. Yonkers rushes up to collect it. Thinks about another high release. decides against it, quickly gets it back. Looking at his options one more time. De Luca hopping, skipping, not really getting free. Has to steal that away from Camerato. Demaret just watches it into his hands.
I've liked the Belgian attack since the discussion about up or down, until just then.
Able to step through and get that huge block. Venturoli taking on Yonkers. And here come BFD, hoping to get a second break. Trombetti goes back to Crisafulli. Crisafulli leads it down the line to the waiting arms of Osri. Crisafulli trying to get free again. Osri forced to go back into the middle of the pitch. Camerato. A beautiful backhand break, or at least I thought it was. Matthew Muller had other ideas. Or sorry, yeah, Matthew Muller, I was right.
Yeah, Muller gets one back. I loved the early D that Venturoli got here. Muller does enough to get it back. Maybe could have been slapped down by Corazza, but any which way, enough pressure by Muller. It's taken away. Timeout on the field. I don't love timeouts in game, but maybe not a bad time for it.
The turnover is coming thick and fast with the action as the two teams look to marshal their forces. Who's going to come out on top in this semi-final matchup? Lafotta currently 5-4 up.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Fiddy, he's done it.
Lafotta ready to get back to business. And they're trying to get a break and get the lead. They are on serve. Both teams have had a break so far. Mooncatchers opening the game with a break. Only took them 4 passes to achieve it as well. Just some quick swinging around the front of the end zone. But Lafotta have really grown into this game, Steph. And now looking to exert a bit more pressure.
It had been quite windy today over on the fields the other side. In the stadium here right now, it's a little bit chilly, but wind has stopped completely. Not quite indoor conditions, but not far off. Just to keep you at home aware of how we're feeling here, more so how they're feeling out there and how they adjust.
Well, De Luca once again staring into this zone. Tognetti just face marking effectively Demaret in the middle of the pitch till he clears into the deep space. Yonkers. De Luca comes back for the quick pop, resetting the stall count. Massive layout block! Incredible siege, you can't break for a second. Osri gets it, but BFD are right back. You stand still for a split second, you will be punished. That's the speed this game is being played at. That's the pace these two teams are bringing in their pursuit of gold here at the European level.
Travel called.
Venturoli quickly steps back, doesn't want to waste any time. Gets back to Tognetti. And across Crisafulli. Right in that front corner, tries to pop it into Tognetti and does so. That's their second break.
Tognetti, you see him placing that disc on the cone in some weird sort of celebration. Doesn't matter. What needs to be celebrated is the play by Tal Osri there. There's Tognetti, the goal scorer. Great work. Job well done. But the block by Tal Osri. Wow. We have seen so many highlights in this game. So many plays. We're going to get another look right here. Oh, just coming in from out of the picture. And here's how it all finishes up. Tognetti gets it back. Crisafulli in the corner. And look at that upline cut by Tognetti, just jammed into that corner, and then the very strange spike again. We've got a timeout on the field, Lorcan. A little time to breathe. 2-point lead right now. Lafotta up 6-4. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that helped to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Welcome back to this action-packed semi-final. As Lafotta just got their second break of the game. They did start the game on serve, so they are 6-4 up over Moon. Moon themselves also have a break to their name. Moon started off looking really strong, exerting pressure on every inch of the pitch, but the Italians have absorbed it, started throwing some counter punches. How will the Belgians respond? Yonkers fakes the scooper. Maybe time to throw a couple of those. De Luca, a lovely, delicate little inside backhand break. Goes to Yonkers again. Jazorlovskis behind him. Finds him. Lovskis doesn't mind chasing down a hook, doesn't mind throwing a few up. And there's the huge hammer over the top, looking for that space against the zone. They find it in the form of Muller. Muller waits for a support to arrive. It does so. Hits Dan Demarais. Demarais to De Luca. De Luca tries to scooper over the top and misreads where Yonkers' cut was going. And that disc hits turf.
Another break here could be treachery against.
Gatti has Chopo in the dump space. He's looking for somebody. Eventually gets it across to Simonazi under all kinds of pressure. De Luca, uncontested foul. Like you say, those two players know each other very well. There'll be no ill intent.
De Luca tried to make up for the errant scooper he threw.
Roger, the inside flick break. Chopo up rushing to get it in the handling position. Only see him downfield, but he'll do any job he can. He wants to taste gold again. Roger. Big sweeping cut across. Able to send it all the way to Algisi. Back to Chopo. Santucci. Santucci sets that one through. Novak had some pressure on his shoulder, but it did not bother him that much. Simonazi looks for Santucci, gets shut down. Forced to sacrifice an awful lot of yards to get the reset, but they're happy to do that. They want another break. Gatti, straight down, Algisi. Roger. Santucci cuts, tries to get free. There's the pop, the push pass for the goal, collected by Jan Novak. 7-4.
Wow, it's happening. These Italians are feeling it. They started hot. I guess they started a little slow, giving up that play with a great pull to start the game, but ever since then, that put a fire under them. You saw Rossi take flight to kick this game off, and now everyone is lighting up here. The turnover into their hands, Roger pulling off some of his French flair here with the wide side push pass led in front. Marek, you see a ground smack coming up. The Czech defender thought he was close enough, wished he would have had a chance on that. But it is all Bologna right now, as you see the ambidextrous Roger run to get a little bit of hydration between points here.
Bit of the international connection. Quentin Roger, obviously from France. Jan Novak, as you said earlier, the Austrian. Both these teams have a couple of international imports. But I mean, you'll take whatever you can get when it's this important to come out on top. Just have a quick look there at Kieran Hudson, one of the coaches for BFD. Looks like he's about to have an aneurysm. but that's that Aussie heart for you. Centered to Yonkers, not for long though, Orlovsky's. That's 2 tall men to have in your handler space. Surprised they don't want to send them downfield. Surprised they haven't sent the discs downfield considering Bontemps is down there. But this BFD zone has been really effective. It's been such a smart strategic adjustment, Steph.
Indeed it has. BFD never surprises me with the amount of variance they show in their tactic.
I would expect a few more overheads. Of course, that was what led to the turnover, and another massive layout. D, this time it's Liam Crisafulli. There's the quick score. He gets the double happiness. That's half-time. Did you expect it to be 8-4 to Lafotta?
No chance I would have bet on this. Lafotta are firing right now on all cylinders. Moon in absolute disarray. They came into this tournament riding high on the national team success, on the club team success, on the fact that they have dispatched everybody who's coming their way this far. But it really sharpens up at this stage of the tournament, and it is absolute disarray. They are going to need a good word from Coach Pierre-Alain Delamine, because right now the wheels are falling off of this fine-tuned automobile up until this stage.
So that's the hammer. Caught by Albertinch. But then you see here, just watch Crisafulli, number 96. Just watch how he recognizes where Albertinch is looking, just screams across to get that block, and then immediately fed for the goal and the halftime lead. They've come out here with some fantastic strategies, ready to rock. So once more, Albertinch gets it, looks downfield. You might be able to see, oh, it's just out of frame. Crisafulli recognizes Albertinch, changes his area of focus. Full extension. I mean, if you're going to catch the moon, you're going to need to learn how to fly. And that's exactly what Lafotta are doing right now. 8-4 up. And plenty more action to come in the second half.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
Wait. Isn't this for the other apparel? We've got like new stuff, right? Bring it in.
Feast your eyes on the new fan version of our iconic ULTI.TV sweatshirts. Great fan gear available for you. Check out our new range of colors and insist on staying warm and looking fresh. Shipping is available after EUCF. Get your fan gear and be one of us. Welcome back. And what do you think at home is going on right now? Because we're a little bit perplexed ourselves. Lafotta, you said quietly demolishing people all weekend long, Steph. And starting to see exactly how right now. The match defense wasn't quite working out. Moon definitely looked like they were rising at the start of the game. But the Italians have forced them back down. So much pressure.
Yeah, this is just, they're a little un-Moon-like right now, and we've talked about how they've reined it in from their old Moon days where they were just wild stallions chucking nothing but hammers and catching them between their legs. They've been conservative, they've tidied it up, but now there are deep options that they're not pulling the trigger on. They are being way too un-Moon, and they got to find a little bit of that gun-slinging ability if they're going to find their way back into this one, because this Italian team, the Bolognese right now, are firing on all cylinders.
De Luca. Looking for Desmarais. Sends it to Yonkers. Yonkers has to go full extension to corral that one. Gets it down the line, looks to get the pop right back. There's a hammer over the top. You wanted some Moon. Here's some Moon. Bontemps. Leading past the De Luca. Back to Bontemps. Orlovsky's right in front of the end zone. He's on the line. He's knocking on that door. Will anybody answer? And there's the quick catch score for Bontemps.
And so we get a little bit more Moon there. We get a tidy hold out of them. A little bit of flair with the hammer. You know, who we probably want to see, or we would probably be used to seeing a bit more Dan Desmarais in that time. I did also notice in that point, he kind of let the team do the work, which is great. It's good to be able to understand who's moving and when it's your turn. But still, being so used to seeing him this season just being at the center of every single play, demanding every single touch. This time, sitting back, the team does the work. They score. Good job. I like what he did there. But as this game goes on, we need to see him injecting himself into the O-line. And the other thing we noticed is that we haven't seen him crossing over much. And
didn't have many chances
he
to.
hasn't had many chances to. They've been long O points. They've been strung together O points. And when the D, it's time for the D to come on the field, he's looking for a break to take a break rather than to just stay out there, which again is something we've been used to seeing out of Dan Desmarais.
So here comes the BFD O-line, something we got a little unused to seeing there for the last few points. The maestro Mastriani, middle of the pitch, and collected by Vozzi. Sends it straight down the line. Casanelli, Laffy, Casanelli leans back as if he's going to launch one. Instead takes the easy dump to Vozzi, gets it right back off him. Sending it across the Barzazzi. And he just looks downfield. That stall count gets pretty high, but eventually he finds Mastriani. Able to get that one across. Although they're going to have a little bit of discussion about the travel.
I think about the contact. I think it's a foul. Casanelli didn't like how close Bakeman's was. Called the foul, and they retreated. Bakeman's accepted the foul.
So Casanelli gets a chance to just survey what's ahead of him in the end zone. Namely Rossi and Barzazzi. Those are two people I would take a chance throwing to. Vozzi, Laffy, quick fire play. Barzazzi tries to hop in. They're going to allow it. No, they're not. They say he was on the line. And they're screaming, put it into the dump position. He doesn't want it. He wants Rossi, but no, it's a huge defensive block.
Bertrand Cork steps in front, and boy, did they need it. Barzazzi hadn't opened up, but went for the glory, and it gets taken away even from the high-flying Rossi there. Just threw into too much coverage.
I was really expecting Rossi to tear that down. Bertrand Cork had other ideas. Orlovsky's. Barzazzi with one of the more active forces is in European Ultimate, trying to put some pressure on. There's the shot from Albertinch. He's looking downfield. He's finding Van den Broek in space right outside of the end zone. Van den Broek, Hirely's flick of his own, and Orlovsky's cool as you like.
Well, that's one way to open up the second half. A hold and a break. Albertinch opens up the field there with the big huck. I thought Van den Broek was in, to be honest, on first look there. He plays it cool. The trailer comes in, the fellow Latvian, Orlovsky's in all sorts of space. But it was that Albertinch bomb that set things off. And now there's a chance to keep a defense on the field. And I think we see Dan Desmarais lining up to take his first defensive point of this half. Look at that. D by Bertrand Cork getting in front of Rossi, who's been having, well, as we all know, a heck of a game.
There's Albertinch just launching it all the way right down the field to Van den Broek. And, you know, so frequently people can get a little bit tired, get a little bit worked up in that situation. He just walks right back out and it's fine. I know people are coming. And another high release flick.
So we're starting to see some carryover. You see Orlovsky's there, a goal and an assist, but a couple turnovers to his name. Those are things that will need to be tidied up. But that said, all of those turnovers for the big Latvian did come on 1 point when it was 2-all, or to make it 2-all. So since then, he has been tidied up.
So this is a dream start to the second half after a nightmare finish to the first one for Mooncatchers. They come out with not quite a zone, but they are certainly trying to poach into that open channel space. Laffy gets it back. It's a nice little break, and there's the outside in flick break. He likes to throw. Pavan gets it. The quick play. Laffy picks it up on the uprush. Gets low, scoops it. They're working down the pitch. Betty sends it back to Laffy. Laffy looks to swing it around. Guppy's there. Disc in hand, one of the more assured handlers. Wastes no time, just lets Pavan get free and throws the easy dish for the score, 9-6.
Yeah, I like the response by the Italians. There's a great matchup there, Orlovsky's and Pavan. We're going at it all the way through the field, but by the time they got to the end, Pavan sucked him out a little bit, had that space on the near sideline, and when Kopi was left alone, Betrancourt kind of dropped off to stay in the throwing lane instead of being a tight mark. Orlovsky's kind of gave a little bit more space too, thinking he had the help, and it was an easy throw for Kopi to find Pavan in the end there. So nice response by the Italians. A tidy enough hold there. And it is 9 for Italy, or Lafotta, to 6 for Mooncatchers. So the break was important, but they need a handful more right now. They're going to have to put the O-line on the field to hold and get that defense back out there if they're going to find a way back into this one, Lorcan.
Yeah, they swapped a couple of players over as well for that previous D point. We're stepping back out there now. So Lafotta staying strong. The O-line responding very effectively to that break. And here comes a big spinning pull out of the hands of Osri. Is that coming back in? That went out of bounds a while ago.
So as Yonkers takes a long walk to pick that up, just an update in the other game. It was 8-6 at half. Clapham took it, but Gentle have responded. 8-7 currently over there, so a tight semi on the other side of this open bracket.
Mooncatchers looking to turn this match into a similar affair as they try to close that gap. Yonkers. Again, just natural poaching into the open lane by both defenders whenever they get the opportunity. Demarais. DeLuca goes up the line. He leads Yonkers all the way around. Very nicely done to get it past Osri. Osri going with a bit of a face mark, so taking advantage of that. Marek just went off injured. Orlovsky's appears to be coming on to replace him.
Not what they needed.
Not the worst person to come in.
No, that's
yes,
it.
exactly. Marek is very important. Which you can see to DeLuca, to Orlovsky's. DeLuca goes down the line. Yonkers comes back around. Yonkers with the big leading pass. Taken down by Oczynski. And Oczynski tries to get that flick. He's searching for the end zone, and Muller's able to get it. The outstretched hand of Tognetti just batting at air, and he can't believe it.
The veteran savvy of Victor Oczynski there. He gets it on that sideline. Mueller had just enough separation. It's a play where he could have easily just turned to center and thrown a dump or a reset, give it to one of the superstars, do something like that. But he saw, he had the vision, and this guy's been doing it for years, Oczynski. Gets the job done, puts it out in front just beyond the outreached hand of Tognetti, the defender. But here's another look. He gets the gainer and all sorts of options inside. Orlovsky's was open, but he takes the kill shot there. Beats Tognetti by 2 inches. And that would probably be about 6 centimeters. And
thank you. I was so confused there for a second. We're in Europe. You use the metric system. And whatever metric you use right now, you've got to say this is a fantastic game we're enjoying. 9-7, the Moon Cup cheer squad coming out.
You live in England and talk about miles. Don't tell me about the metric system, all right?
England is an outlier because they use a lot of systems and none of them effectively.
Ooh, bobble by Zanny.
Laffy with the disc. Back to Zanny. Has Vuzzy behind him, but that is stolen away by Bontemps. Just picking a pocket and floating it in for the score. Lovskis gets it. That's a break. 9-8.
We got a game. Sofiane Bontemps came to play. He had been a bit quiet maybe. Now he's switching. He'd switched over a couple lines in the last 3 or 4. That time out for D, picks the pocket, and then that nice elevator, high release, gets it to the man mountain, Arvids Orlovskis, and he keeps adding to the positive side of his stat sheet. But here is the errant throw again by Zanny, looking for Votsi, but Sofiane Bontemps says, not today. That's my disc. Is this what you're looking for, Votsi? I'll just give it to my big fella now and cash that in for another point on the board.
And they close the gap. The second half really belonging to Mooncatchers. You were saying they needed a strong team talk at halftime. Well, maybe they got some of Bugs Bunny's secret stuff, but they're coming out firing on all cylinders. 4-1. Hold, break. Hold by Lafotta. Hold, break again by Mooncatchers. 8-4 at half. 9-8 now. Where else would you be? What else do you have to do? It's a Saturday evening. Enjoying top quality Ultimate, and tell us if you enjoy it. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell so you never miss any of the action. Man, I love Bontemps' pulls. Laffy gets it down the line. Gasparini back to Laffy. There's a little bit of contact outfield between Rossi and Demarais. Demarais comes out on top, no call. They're setting their own physical standards and happy to play to them. We're happy to watch. Orlovskis with the disc. Wow. Indeed. Orlovskis leads Demarais. He's on the sideline. Back to Orlovskis. Not a whole lot of movement coming from the cut, from the stack, I mean. So it looks like they're almost trying to go with a weave. Orlovskis is able to send it across. Albertinch. Demarais makes a move. He floats it all the way out across to the opposite sideline, collected by Volast. Has Demarais behind him. Puts it maybe a bit too far. Oh, maybe for a mortal. Demarais collects. Gets it back to Orlovskis. They've sacrificed a lot of yards, but they've retained possession, and that's what truly matters. Vandenbroek goes inside. Able to get it to Albertinch. Albertinch wants the flick break, but tries to put a bit too much sauce on it. And you can't do that against the Italians. They'll get mad.
They know what to do with the sauce. Albertinch a little excited there. That was a great possession after this Demarais takeaway. You said no call. There might have been some contact that could have been considered. But Demarais doing everything in his power to get around. But the longer that possession went, the more fatigue came into play. Somebody's picked up and moved the cone. I don't like that.
Well, I like the idea of Laffy walking the disc. I think a lot of the Italian fans like the idea of getting that back, because they were facing down a tied-up game, not something they want to deal with. Sonny's able to get that across. That's a high-release flick, coming out with a quick snap. None of this airy-fairy floaty nonsense. Going straight route one. Zanny got it from Kopi. Looks downfield, looks back to Kopi instead with the dump. Kopi dishing it out as he does so well and has done for so long for BFD. Gasparini to Rossi. Rossi back to Gasparini. Gasparini turns down the open pass to Rossi. Debatable decision, but he gets it to Casanelli. I'm supposed to know there's that much talent. You don't have to worry about it so much. Laffy back to Casanelli in the middle of the pitch. And BFD going back in the other direction. Laffy. And again, both teams go for a bit of a weave. That was a dangerous blade over the top, trying to out-moon Moon. That's not how it works. Louis Courteau was ready.
Jeez. It's
There's a huge shot going back in the other direction. Bon Tom's down there, and he rips it out of the sky. Talk about a moon catcher. Leads the play. It's so much action. Betancourt shoots for the end zone, and of course it's another incredible play. You said he wasn't involved that much early on. Is he involved enough now for you?
I think I can accept his involvement at this stage. 9 apiece. Bontemps leaves the atmosphere to take that one over Zani, and then finishes the job. The throw just a little bit off. Still lays out to get the goal. Bontemps is blowing up right now. My brains are dripping out of my ears. The headphones, the only things keeping them in right now. 9-9. We are back to level peggins. Late game. Who wants it more right now? Based on that play, it's the Mooncatchers. Bontemps whipping that out of the sky. Oh.
And then goes for the quick pop. Betancourt is like, you know what? Do you have another showy play in you? Yes, he does. It's another high release flick.
Wow. What a game. What a game we have got here. Mooncatchers scorching back into this game. And the second half is just all Mooncatchers. In fact, 3 breaks in this second half. A hold and a break to kick things off. They succumbed 1 point when Lafotta held, and then a hold of their own and 2 ensuing breaks bring this back to level score 9 apiece.
Zani with the disc. BFD are still in the driver's seat. They still have serve. Can they use it, or will they lose it? Gasparini turns down Mastroianni immediately in front of him. Goes to Pavan back. Field. Pavan. Leads the pass. Zani collects. Lots of movement, but not a lot of options. Moon are really trying to ratchet up the pressure. Gasparini. Across to Pavan. Struggling to generate a lot of space for themselves. Eventually able to get it across to Venturoli. Venturoli. He faked me out with that one. Gets it back and just about rescued from the clutches of gravity by Casanelli. Casanelli goes. Tognetti. Tognetti. Outside in flick break. The fall down break, the reach back grab, it's all on display. Pavan falls down with the throw and gets it to Tognetti. That's a big deal. And he puts the disc as a hat on that cone.
Interesting set of defense there. You saw Orlovsky's and Desmarais switching off on the mark, and the first cutter in the stack that tended to be the second handler. They were doing a little bit of switching there. It was slowing down the Italians a little bit. They had to work hard to get it, to throw around it here, but they found their way, and in the end, a scorching inside break by Casanelli. Big pickup by Pavan. That's the saving pickup. And then easy for the finishing touches. It goes around to Tognetti and a two-hand little clap catch there. But the tough stuff happened in the middle of that play there.
That's the standard of this game. You describe that moment easy, where you have to fall to the ground to try and break Hyotonen. That's on the scale of difficulty of things we've seen in this game. That's on the easy. That's the grade, or the curve we are grading this match on. 10-9 to Lafotta. They hold on. Barely.
Barely, and as we see all this wonderful chat, I see the last one, Didzis Malderis, of course, loves his moon, but loves a good game and loves when people like the videos, as he says.
I've heard that. Popular ultimate influencer.
Yeah.
And star of the Midwest, Didzis Malderis.
Do what Didzis says.
You know what, just generally as a disclaimer, that's probably not great advice.
Generally speaking, you're probably right.
As here come Moon, they're calling an offside! That's how intense it's getting!
Offside called, and they'll play from the brick mark.
Yonkers. Or maybe not Yonkers.
Did DeLuca catch the pull?
I think, maybe, I guess, who knows.
Anyways.
Yonkers has the disc. Big active forces. Scuba over the top. I thought he was going for DeLuca, and that was going to be another Scuba turnover. It was in fact Desmarais. I should never dare to doubt these Mooncatchers. Muller, Bontemps. Bontemps pulling some heavy double duty. Big Huck! He's looking for Desmarais. It's a battle underneath. And collects it on the second time! That man can't be stopped, it seems.
It is a very brave ordeal to take on Venturoli deep. They took on Venturoli deep. He did his job to some end. He got a fingertip on there, went up against Dan. He's bigger than Dan Desmarais, but Dan Desmarais does not give up on the play. The tip was a little bit of luck. It went in his favor and still lays out to pick up the goal. That's 2 goals, an assist, and a block. He's getting better as this game goes on, most certainly. And it is tied up 10 apiece. This game, I guess it's what we expected, but it's still, wow. There's a lot going on out there.
8-4 going into half, and I've got to admit to all of you wonderful people at home, a little part of me went, oh, I thought this game was going to be close. Now, I can already hear my doctor saying, yeah, you got to stop doing this with yourself. As you see, there's the quick touch, but Desmarais won't bow, doesn't know how, keeps going, gets it on the second attempt. There was perhaps a call for a stall out. No, I think it's hard. These young kids, they come up with so many new ways of celebrating.
Here's another look.
Venturoli, I thought he had the inside channel. And like you say, he does his job, but it's not over until it's over. And we've got a full third left to go. Oh, right back at him. That's another offside call. How do you like that?
I love that. The dueling offside pull calls. There is nothing between these two teams right now, and I absolutely love it.
Kopi, the veteran. And then Brook, trying to do what so many other defenders have done, or so many other defenders have failed to do, and that is shake Fabio Kopi when he has the disc in hand. So kind of getting a little bit higher. He's able to get to Pavan. Down the line to Gasparini. The Moon Cup choir raising their voices. Back to Kopi. Out to the opposite sideline. And receives it back. Sitting in that linchpin. And like you were talking about, Stefan, they're continuing to look for switches where available. And that one took a little bit of a knock, I think, off the foot. Van den Broek might have got it, but then there's a collision.
Tough one here, off the foot, and then Bontemps knocks it away. Gasparini's considering the foul. I think it was knocked away before the foul, but he was fouled nonetheless. I feel like that is a takeaway. I feel like that's a block, but there is contact. That's not my feeling. I think Gasparini makes the call that I thought was accurate.
Seemed like a fair call. 2 people coming from opposite directions into the same position. Bontemps gets there first. Orlovskis doesn't immediately send it to Bontemps. Sends it to Desmarais instead, the conservative option. Desmarais back to Van den Broek. Van den Broek looking to spread the field a little bit. Hits Dan Desmarais. Desmarais gets it to Albertinch. Albertinch, it feels like there was a travel call a little while back, so I don't know if it'll even stay with Wallace. No, it's going back to Albertinch. And Pavan recreates the classic slow down turn. That is against the rules. Just tell literally everybody who plays the sport, because they all do it. Albertinch immediately lashes it deep. He's looking for that familiar connection. Orlovskis.
The Latvian combo there. Albertinch, Seitz, Orlovskis, and is not afraid to even throw over Barsazi to hit that. I would never recommend throwing over Barsazi, but if there's ever a case for it, it's when that man, Arvids Zanis Orlovskis, is on the other end. A Latvian hookup that puts them ahead for the first time. Well, no, they just take their lead back. Since 2-1, in fact. Sorry, 2-1. The first time they've had the lead. And, you know, the Italians took this game before halftime. At halftime, this game was theoretically over. Lafotta could have just, you know, put in their 0 points, and that's all they had to do. But Moon had other ideas here. They have taken this game away bit by bit, one break, then succumb a hold, 2 breaks, little run, then they give up another hold, and then a hold, and another break. That is 4 breaks in the second half for Mooncatchers. They're up 11-10. There's 18 minutes and 40 seconds that remain. And so much left to play. Another offside call on the pull.
Persnickety. But understandable. You don't want to give them any extra advantage. And Lafotta starting up. Like you say, such an impressive second half as the night has fallen here in Wrocław. Moon have risen to the occasion. Now 11-10 up. Back on the original lead. The first since 2-1. Trombetti. Inside flick break. It's across the Gasparini. Gasparini launches one deep. And it's a stellar grab by Rossi! You saw him going for it. He tears it down out of the night sky. Gets it back to Gasparini. Gasparini fakes and gets it through into the middle. I thought he was going to Trombetti. Instead, he goes to Tognetti. 11-11.
Wow. Rossi's back over Desmarais this time. These offenses are attacking each other with reckless abandon. They are going for the jugular every opportunity. Rossi not flustered one bit that Desmarais next to him, that he's breathing down his neck. He rises to the occasion, rises up, takes that one away. 4 ones on the board. It's 11 apiece. And I think we've got a timeout on the field here.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, no, I could be wrong.
I think it's just both teams coming on full squad to make sure they can lift their teammates up and put them in the right place. We know that both breaks can come. As we have another look at that incredible grab by Rossi. And here you can see, I thought he was, once he threw it back to Gasparini, I thought they were going to go for Tognetti, but they pull the defense over to that side. Or sorry, Trombetti, and then they hit Tognetti.
11-11, 16 minutes to play before we establish a points cap. We could well get to 15 in that time. As you said, your doctor probably recommend you don't do this too much because the heart palpitations are coming on. There is not much that keeps us stable in moments like this.
And right now, they're going to have to lean on each other. They're going to have to dig deep. It's been a long season for a lot of these players. International representation at EUC. A lot of them played at under 24s. They've had long club seasons, the elite invites, the trainings, the weekends, the commitment. It all comes down to moments like this. As Desmarais, disc in hand, going up against this BFD zone that helped them build that lead in the first half. And a big reaching grab. Roger was in the area. Disc goes back to De Luca. Yonkers tries to make himself available, goes to Dan Desmarais, middle of his own end zone. Thinks about another hammer. BFD collapse in, goes to Yonkers. Expanding, contracting with each breath. Ragged as they may be, huge blade all the way over the top. Fantastic vision to find Bontemps. Bontemps wants to keep it going, time's going, Santucci in the area! You can't be taking chances like that!
Bontemps had options underneath. He looked at it once and put it away. And the second time, he liked what he saw to Oczynski. But Chopo made that option look very pedestrian when he rose and smacked that away, ensured that it was only going to ever go out the back. A huge play by Santucci to get the disc back as Tognetti takes the long walk and is going to bring this back in. A break. Oh, goodness gracious. Who wants it more? This is the rubber match of the season. It is the semifinal, the chance to go into the European final. Both of these teams want it. They're begging for it. And only one can go through. I cannot believe how good this game is.
Santucci reaching forward in order to get that. Thinks about launching a flick outsides against it. Roger goes back. That's a leading pass. Tognetti comes back under to get it, puts one up himself. And it goes over two heads. It bounces. The second chance is still there, but not for very long. Orlovskis shuts the door, gets the disc back. They were looking for Venturoli. Overshot him ever so slightly.
Back and forth we go.
Oczynski. Quick pop to Yonkers. Yonkers leads down the far sideline. Bontemps this time puts that throw back in his pocket because he recognizes the shock of blonde hair that shocked him last time. Orlovskis. Oczynski. And the cuts perhaps not coming as quick as he would like. Certainly not as quick as they did earlier on. And then that disc goes straight to dirt. Or turf as the case may be.
Flubbed one, and Roger picks the disc up, a little bit concerned about its state of affairs. Yeah, you see a little wobble in there. That disc is tacoed. They are looking for a game disc. Scorekeepers. Not sure what we've got.
Here was the shot looking for Venturoli. Orlovskis needed to be there to stop it from winding up in the hands of Osri. Osri with the huge layout. That's how much they want it. You give them half a millimeter and they'll try to take a kilometer. Yeah, that expression doesn't work as well in the metric system, in fairness.
Give them an inch, they'll look for that mile, Lorcan.
Roger. Tognetti. Santucci. Santucci with the low flick to Tognetti. Gets it across to Venturoli. Back into Tognetti. Tognetti to Roger. They're making the difficult look simple right now with some of these inside flick breaks. Tognetti goes to the corner, and that one was just a little bit too short. So one poor turn deserves another. Muller able to step through and knock it down before it gets to Santucci. But two underthrows in a row. And that is a perfectly placed scooper into Demarais. There's the call from the opposite sideline. See me, feed me. And the quick pop back, Bontemps. Yonkers. DeLuca's in support. Demarais in front. He goes to Demarais. No cut from the stack. Tries to send it back. Yonkers skipping, juking, diving. And there's the hammer over the top. Tognetti in the area as well. He knocks it away. And that might be, it's tough. You know, you live by the moon, you die by the moon, I guess.
And I think Tognetti was running back up and maybe heard the late foul call. He threw the disc down and a little bit of disgust. Maybe it's not a foul, maybe it's an injury call. But, and good to see Tognetti helping out. Calf cramp.
I'm not sure I've ever seen two people discuss a call while one of them was stretching the other's.
It must not have been a call.
It was just a cramp. Bontemps has to go off as we see another look. I think if you're Bontemps, you're like, I could have had that. If you're, a normal person, you don't think that. So this one stretching out a bit as it's 11-all. It's about a 6-minute long point so far. A few turnovers going each direction. Roger. He has Crisafulli out to one side, goes back to Tognetti instead. Tognetti looks to send that down the line outside the range of Demarais. Santucci sits back, launches one, he wants Osri. All he gets is Orlovskis.
That's twice they've shot deep for Osri, and Orlovskis has cleaned it up.
Demarais. As Osri filters through. Crisafulli comes down to put the mark on Demarais. Back to Orlovskis. And everything just slows down a little bit for a second. DeLuca goes to collect. I think there was a bit of contact between Venturoli and Yonkers. I'm not sure if that's a foul call.
Yeah, definitely. Yonkers is in a bit of disarray there. I think he got chopped in the face, is what he's seeming to indicate. And he's still grabbing his jaw and face a little bit there. But shakes his head back into understanding and consciousness.
The perfect cure for any concussion. DeLuca. That's a difficult throw to get off. Not an easy one to corral either. Demarais even to it. Yonkers thinks about the high release flick, then the backhand. Decides on neither of them. Venturoli steps off, then tries to bring the pressure back down. Big bid, but nothing happening. DeLuca able to collect. And back to Yonkers. The movement being well stifled downfield until that big. Another play by Santucci! He's a shark in the water and they just keep on bleeding.
Giovanni Chopo Santucci's not in the picture, not in the picture. Okay, we go to the other angle, but comes out 10, 12 steps away. That hammer had just a bit too much altitude on it, and that gave Chopo enough time to catch up and set himself a sail.
I feel like every Belgian watching felt like Muller in that moment. It goes back to Tognetti. And there is an understandable timeout called by Tognetti. They need to reset. There's been an awful lot of turns. There's been an awful lot of action. Everyone's getting a little bit loose. We take a second, we tighten up, because things couldn't get much tighter on the scoreline, even if they are loose on the pitch, as it is currently Mooncatchers 11 and BFD Lafotta 11, as we're just going to have another quick look at some of the absolutely incredible highlight plays. And just imagine what we've got waiting for you when we come back.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Welcome back. The focus there, Quentin Roger marking into a support position, walking into a support position for Tognetti. He's going straight back. There's the thing about these midpoint timeouts is I'm always fascinated to see what the defense sets up as. So it's a pretty standard 3-4, unless they change the force. I think they're going break side, 45 degrees back, open side, lateral. It seems to me, and you're the experienced coach here, but it seems to me it's just a match defense. No real obvious clamping or poaching into the open lane.
No, and I quite like a match defense in this situation. You don't need to do too much. Outrun your assignment.
That's a tall order when there's people like Casanelli that you have to try and lock up. Roger, that stutter step. Just dismissing Vandenbroek on the defensive side. Roger. Beautiful break to Tognetti. Tognetti gets down to Venturoli. Venturoli, Cristofuli's making a move in front of him. Tognetti behind, he goes to Tognetti. Back into the middle, Casanelli. Tognetti. Tries to find Crisofuli, able to get there. I thought Yonkers might be sneaking in for a defensive play himself. And the quick play, Venturoli barely holds on to it for a second. Gets it to Tognetti. And down the line, Santucci. He's made some incredible defensive plays already. Just in this point, floats that one over the top to Venturoli. Back to Santucci. Santucci looking for some options. Shoots it, it pops! And it's blocked at the second asking. Oczynski gets the better of Roger.
Wow, what a game. 8 turnovers in this point after the timeout. Another one generated. This point, I mean, you can slice it up any which way you like, but momentum-wise, whoever gets this point is going to be feeling really good looking towards that finish line.
That is not an easy catch for DeLuca to make either. Oczynski really quickly resets it. Muller, he has Oczynski again, he hits him, and back, the give-go, getting going a little bit. Oczynski, Yonkers, Demarais, Yonkers. Screaming, calling somebody make a move for me. Eventually he's able to get it down the line. Beekmans, back to Yonkers. They're outside the end zone. Could we be approaching a conclusion to this mammoth point? Orlovskis thinks about the hammer, decides against it. Looking, goes for the break, just floats it. Demarais jogging into position. Inside flick, scoop, score! And that is a monster catch by Matthew Muller.
Monster catch, nice inside break. I like the way Orlovsky's put away the hammer there, threw around to Demarais on the sideline. There is a moment where you need to be a bit more Moon, and there is that same ensuing moment where you have to choose the conservative options. And on the point with 8 turnovers, the conservative options start to seem a little bit more legitimate as that point keeps going. They figured it out in the end there. You see him, his back looking up for some of the big shots and then feeds Demarais in the corner. Demarais gets the job done down the line here, and Muller still needs to make a play, especially with how many turnovers we've seen in this. There is 3 minutes remaining in this game. Muller gets the go-ahead. It is 12-11. That the marathon point, and the marathon point taken by Moon, I always find that to be a big advantage to win those long grinders.
I've been saying this all season long. When those marathon points happen, the team that scores it, almost always the team that goes on to win the match. And you could see the difference after that Herculean effort by the Italians. Really slow walk back to the line. They're going to have to go for almost a wholesale, in fact, I'm pretty sure that is a wholesale line change. And this late in the game, with only 3 minutes left to play, you want to have your best out there, although of course they've got a lot of people to choose from when trying to pick their best. Laffy, middle of the pitch, gets it down to Rossi. And Rossi launches one deep, he's looking for Barzazzi, and the businessman gets the business done.
David Barzazzi runs it down, but what a throw by Seba Rossi. He is fired up too, running down the pitch. Seba Rossi set that up, a beautiful under, got great separation, but the turn and fire, flat laser, full 3/4 field huck, that was a thing of beauty. It's tied at 12. Clock still ticking, at least one more point to play before a score cap is dictated. So we're at least playing to 14.
So,
Lorcan.
How do you follow up a 12-minute long point in which both teams, well, your D-line gets 4 chances to break. There are huge plays either side. Collectively, I think they made Moon, across all of their possessions, throw almost 50 passes. How do you respond? You come out with your O-line, you throw 2 passes, you put your faith in that man right there, Seba Rossi.
6 points to his name, 6 stats to his name, 3 blocks, an assist, and 2 goals. What a game for Seba Rossi. No matter what happens, he has put it in. And we do have a finalist on the other side of the bracket. Clapham have got the job done, 15-12 in the end. They've put away Gentle. They will be back in the European final. We knew they would come here meaning business, and they have meant business thus far, unscathed along their route. They are waiting the opponent here.
Tales of their demise were very much mistaken as Yonkers picks it up. There is 15 seconds left in regulation. You got to imagine that this is going to be the point that decides the final cap. Orlovsky's winds up, launches one Venturoli against Demarais, but that's just too pretty a picture for anybody else to bomb in. That is genuinely so close. We don't actually know if he caught that before time went. 13-12 to Moon. The second half belonged to them. But then Lafotta remembered who they are. Came screaming back themselves. Tidied up their offense. Brought some heat on the defensive end.
I want to know if that goal was caught before or after the time cap went. Because if it was before, we've got one more point to play before time cap is point cap is established. If it's after, well, then point cap is established now. It's a game to 14. That we will work out in a second. Orlovsky's to Demarais. The Stars are stepping up in the big moments right now. That throw by Orlovsky's, who we tend to see a bit more on the receiving end, was a absolute perler on a line. Demarais put the airplane arms out. He was so confident. He had clearance beyond the reach of the trailing Venturoli, and it is all happening here.
Laffy, middle of the pitch. That linchpin, that bedrock of their offense. Mastroianni. He's done just about everything it's possible to do for BFD, including winning a title with them. Barzazzi, the quick fire backhand, he launches it, it's Rossi, of course it's Rossi!
13-13, anything you can do, I can do better. They say Barzazzi takes it upon himself to deliver a very similar backhand. He had the Rossi. Pavan probably could have risen to a similar occasion. Both of them clear behind the defenders. Rossi, having the game he has, rises up, takes that one. It is 13-13. That makes it universe point.
So, all tied up. Both teams understandably taking a breather as we have another look. Rossi measured that to perfection, the throw. So after a mammoth point where there was a huge amount of turnovers, both teams respond with just some crisp, clean offense. Fantastically done. And so we're going to go hear what Cron's saying to BFD.
This is what we came to play, and we've put ourselves in an excellent position. And we get to enjoy it now, yeah?
Di noi qua giù ci hanno già giocato e ci hanno sempre vinto. Comfort e la vinta.
Raga, 7 dentro, aspettate, 7 dentro. Tranquillo, aspettiamo 7 dentro.
Ok.
Vento, Pingo, Gatti, Gas, Seba, Cioppo, Liam.
You talk about that Eurodisc best perspective. What a perspective that was. Kieran Hudson made the trip from down under to come and share some of that sunshine that he brings to every team that he is a part of. And then Santucci, Gioppo, laying down the law, letting his team know he's a veteran. He's got the experience. And he's coming out in the D-line. That's where he likes to be. This is why you play the sport. The highest moments for the ultimate levels of success. Clapham await you in the final like an inevitability, but that doesn't matter right now. All that matters is what awaits you over the next 5 minutes.
So looking on these lines, universe point line defensively, Venturoli, Gasperini crosses over. You've got Roger, you've got Tognetti, you've got Gatti, of course you've got Rossi, and of course you've got the talisman Cioppo Santucci on the D-line.
And they are going to have to try and limit Muller, Demarais, De Luca, Orlovsky's, Yonkers, Oczynski, and Sofian Bontemps. Let's see how they do. Orlovsky's immediately sends to Demarais. They're going with the zone. It brought them a lot of joy in this game. Let's see if it will bring them to the final. Yonkers. It's an across. Bontemps. Far sideline. Back to Yonkers. Thinks about the hammer. It would be appropriate. Big flick all the way across. Acres of space. He able to find Mueller in it. Bontemps comes for the relief in the middle of the pitch. I think they've switched to match now. De Luca. There's a foul called, understandably. Venturoli trying to put every bit of pressure he can possibly exert onto De Luca. Sure, they're friends off the pitch right now. They are combatants. De Luca. Options being shut down all over the pitch. It's going to take something special, or just Yonkers never giving up. There's the quick attack from Bontemps. Demarais to Yonkers! What? The classic connection! They get it done! Just about 8-4 down at half, 14-13. They book their place in the final. Mooncatchers are gonna go for gold. Commiserations to BFD Lafotta for the heroic effort.
Wow, indeed. Big commiserations. No head hanging should be accepted, though. It will inevitably happen. BFD put it all on the line, left it all on the field. This time, it's Yonkers scoring from Demarais, the opposite of what happened in the European Championship final. They connected in the other sequence. This game had it all. An impressive and incredible first half by BFD Lafotta. Some individual efforts that would make your mind melt all over Rossi.
Break it down for us, Steph. I mean, there was heroes everywhere.
2 goals, 2 assists, and 3 blocks for Rossi. You got Barsazzi with a goal and 2 assists. You've got Luca Tognetti with 3 goals, 2 assists, and a block. That's on the side that doesn't come away with it, but Orlovsky's, you got to give him big props. 3 goals, 2 assists, 2 blocks. Sofiane Bontemps, 2-2-2. And the finishing touches, Dan Demarais, 3 goals, 3 assists, and a block. A heck of a game all around there. Congratulations to the Mooncatchers. They will feature in tomorrow's Open Final.
Taking on Clapham and Steph. Is that the only final we're showing tomorrow?
Now, we have got 3 finals, of course, Lorcan. The Open Division, the Women's Division, and to conclude in the Mixed Division, we know who all our finalists are going to be even, Lorcan.
In the Mixed Division, it will be Deep Space from London, hoping to dethrone the reigning champs, GRUT. A tall order, but something the Londoners are well equipped and well excited to take on. In the Women's Division, Steph?
It's Shout has got past Yaka, and they will take on Jinx in the final. So Shout, Jinx, and then of course this big one, the Mooncatchers Clapham, coming up in the final.
What a day, what a weekend. Incredible stuff all around the pitch. The Mooncatchers, did you think they were dead? Did you think it was over? 8-4. You fool! Huge plays, that kind of stuff was just happening all game long. Layout blocks, skies, grabs, just about everything we adore about this sport. And all you could take, all you could want. And now, as we just go back and watch just a small selection, because we can't replay the entire game, we'd almost need to. Just a small selection of the incredible highlights from this game. And I am very fortunate, stand behind a pole, to be joined by one of the stars of that game, Sofiane Bontemps.
Thank you.
Absolutely unbelievable experience. I'm breathless. I wasn't on the pitch. You have to tell us what went on in that halftime talk when you were 8-4 down.
I think that the fact we were down by like -4, I think. The coach took the word and he really said that a game is never finished until the end. He also said that the whole tournament we play like a family and we have to stick together until the end. And everybody was not mad at anyone about the mistakes. Everybody was just happy to be there, and we just say, even if we have to lose this game, we have to finish it without any doubt and any regret. And I think we did it pretty well in the second half.
I would have to agree with you. It did seem in the first half that BFD's zone was giving you a little bit of trouble. Is there any adjustments that you guys made as a team to counteract it?
We were a bit not surprised, but we didn't find a way to break them, break their zone. And after we just said we need to be more creative, and we know that we can throw hammer, scuba, and they brought me Arvid and me on the side to have this space in the large field, and it's what happened in the after, and we just took more in the in the large and not the deep space, but the large on the zone, and we always throw just upside, and after we just have to continue the play, and it was over for them at the last.
Very, very true. And you managed to stay focused. You managed to fight hard through the entire game, and now you're on your way to a final. I believe your third final of
this
the
year,
season?
Yeah, like with Moon is the third. With the Moon and national team is the fourth one, I think. Like under 24, EUC, with Meal, and Elite Invite. So we just took this experience to this game and just feel that we can beat anyone, even if we are just down, and just the team did, and it's unbelievable.
Well, what I've watched you guys do all season long as Moon, as a Belgian national team at both under 24 and at the senior level, I wouldn't doubt you as you will be squaring up against the bad guys of European Ultimate, but no, the established power and the benchmark by which every open team really sets themselves and tests themselves. Clapham. So the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for that game.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks.
What a matchup there. The man himself, who was gracious enough to bless us with his presence and somehow was able to speak in full sentences. I'm struggling to do it right now. 2 goals, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He's one man amongst a team. What he was talking about at that half-time, we are a family, we lift each other up. We do not get mad. No one was yelling, no one was screaming. It wasn't frustration, it was curiosity that led them to that point. How can we respond? How can we get back into this game? How can we use that energy in a positive sense? You look at that stats breakdown, 5 breaks to 4. That's how close it was in the end, Steph.
9 break chances to 10. I mean, nothing more than one numeric differential here. That game, you're splitting hairs to find the better team there. It is crazy to say that Bologna was not the better team, but they weren't by the smallest margin. But that is the difference when it comes down to this. When you play at this level, anything can happen. This time, Mooncatchers got the benefit, and they're going to the final.
Bon Tom, talk to us about the strategies they'd employed, using the width more. And what's crazy is, this isn't the final challenge that they're going to have to face. The final is waiting for them tomorrow. Clapham are waiting to take them on. On behalf of myself, Lorcan Murray, on behalf of my compatriot in this incredible evening, Stefan Rapazzo, everybody here at ULTI.TV, remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell, share. This is one of the best games I've ever seen, and it's finals day tomorrow, so you know where to watch it. It'll be a different catch time, but the same catch channel. We'll see you there.
Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.